Hey guys, Andy here, and today I'm going to show you how to enhance performance in Adobe Premiere Pro. And so first things first, we're going to go to Edit, Preferences, and then scroll down to Media. And from here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disable our growing files. Now, what are growing files? They're basically files that are being written and will grow in length as they're being ingested in Premiere. So typically that's live captures, live recordings, stuff like that. So if your workflow doesn't call for files like that, it's best to just simply disable that. So it's one less thing that Premiere has to worry about as you're working on stuff. And so the next thing that we'll do is optimize our media cache. Now, ideally, you'll want your media cache folder to be on your fastest non-operating system drive if possible, and preferably the fastest one if you have multiple hard drives. And so while we're here, we can go ahead and delete unused media cache files. This will clean the media cache database. Now, depending on how much you use Premiere, I would recommend to just periodically delete unused media cache files. If you're a casual user, probably once a month. If you're a video editor like myself who does a lot of projects, it would be best to delete them maybe every week, every other week. You can also have Premiere automatically delete your cache files. Now you can do this based on the file's age or if the cache exceeds a certain limit. Now I recommend a certain limit just because I don't want to have to face hard drive issues later on as far as space issues go. So for me, I have Adobe automatically delete the oldest cache files when the overall cache exceeds 10 gigabytes. Now keep in mind, this is for the oldest cache files, so it'll just delete the oldest ones as it reaches the 10 gigabit limit. I would highly recommend to periodically delete your media cache files to free up hard drive space. And you can also delete your peak files, but that's generally not going to net you a whole lot of hard drive space. And so next we're going to be going to memory to adjust the RAM reserved for other applications. Now, typically what you see in other tutorials is they would recommend that you give as much RAM as possible to Adobe, so that way it can use the most RAM for rendering and all that sorts of stuff. But I found that if I give too much RAM to it, in my particular case, then it affects system stability issues. So I would recommend just doing little trial and error methods to see what works best for you. So in my case, I've given a quarter of my RAM to Adobe while keeping the rest of the 3/4 for other applications. And that's the one that works for me. And also be sure to optimize your rendering for performance, not so much for memory. And so next we'll go to playback and we'll be sure to enable Mercury Transmit. And basically what Mercury Transmit is it's used to preview projects to an external video device, such as another monitor or a TV. And so if your workflow doesn't call for a second monitor or some other external video capturing device, then it's best to just disable this option so that way Premiere has one less thing to run. So yeah, that's how you can enhance performance in Adobe Premiere Pro. If you like this tutorial, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more tutorials. And if you have a question, be sure to leave it in the comments down below and your question could be the next tutorial. This is the Andy-san, signing out for now, and as always, we'll see you next time. Bye guys.